God, got so much dry shampoo in my hair right now. Okay, cool.
All right.
Look at me. I'm like an old fat sweaty guy. Like, what do you?
Yeah, speaking of which, wipe a little bit off your brow. There. Or not brow.
How about we get some powder or something? Like,
they're tuning in to listen now. Look, bro.
oh, come on. 10 years ago, maybe it was different.
All
right. Welcome to Creatorship.
Thank you so much.
Sophie Tea.
David Noble, biggest connector in the world.
Biggest connector in the world. Biggest artist in the world. So when are you going to be the biggest artist in the world?
It's got to be, I'm pissed off that it hasn't already happened yet, firstly, but I think let's give it 5 years. Let's give it 5 years.
It already has happened. Everybody else has to understand it.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it hasn't, no. But it will.
How will you know?
How will I know? I think that I'll know when we like sell out stadiums in the US.
So like Taylor Swift style.
Yeah.
What do you want people to know about you?
Okay.
Nobody knows you.
Oh yeah, no one.
There's like a million people on the TikTok.
Yeah.
Like 350,000 people on the Instagram.
Yeah.
The show is kind of about people finding their way through building businesses, using those tools, following that journey. What do you want people to know about you?
So I'm a painter, just an artist, but I guess that I've gone about building the business differently to most artists. What I've tried to do is run it independently from galleries. Now, for people that don't know, galleries is like getting in a sick gallery is like the typical way like an artist would like make it. And they take 50% commission. And I think I realized very early on that like, well, number one, I couldn't afford to give anyone half my money because there was no money anyway. And number two, I thought I'd do a better job at like marketing myself than any gallery could because they were also representing.
How can you possibly think that?
I don't know. Like,
how could you possibly be sitting? Where were you sitting back then?
I mean, it all started in India, which I love that story. I literally only went once and I just keep referencing it because it makes me look cool.
But when did you came home from India?
Yeah.
You came home from, were you in Thailand too? Bali, different places?
I mean, one of them, but no.
Yeah, all of them. One of them, all of them. Doesn't matter. But you came home and like you went and told your mom and dad like you're going to paint? Or no, you didn't tell them, you just started doing it?
So I actually emailed them when I was in, didn't I, Mom? I emailed you when I was in India. I said, hi, I know I've got a grad scheme lined up and the job was quite good, but I've decided I found myself and I'd like to be an artist. Please may I move home? And you gave me 6 months, I think, of free rent. And I tell you what now, there's nothing more motivating than moving back home after uni.
With your mom and dad, yeah.
Love you to bits, but she's here with me now in New York. But like,
yeah, get me out.
Yeah. I remember
22?
22, yeah.
22, 23?
I remember
causing trouble?
Yeah, but I was pretty like straight. I was pretty like good. Like I wasn't drinking. I was just like working. I remember Mum every day was like, have you made any money today yet? And I was like, Mum, I'm an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs don't make money. Like it'll be 10 years in, I'll sell the business. That's not how it works.
Kind of true.
Kind of true.
But we're not selling though.
No, not honestly. Like the first 5 years were really like, I mean, we've discussed this before, but like really tough. Like I was literally just eating biscuits and just scraping, just getting by. But I think I moved to London 6 months in, got a tiny studio, £112 a month that I shared with another girl. And it was meant to be like half time. And I remember I was just literally there about 22 hours a day and she was so pissed at me. But I just had no other choice. Like I had to. So yeah.
I had to. Why did you have to? Most people don't have to.
Well, I think
most people never can commit to that. Most people can't like realize that they have to.
I mean, I think that I always like take my hat off to people that become entrepreneurs after they actually have a full-time job because they've got like a lifestyle to like give up. Like at the time, like I had no choice. Like I was poor anyway. I was a poor student. So like there was no other way for me to get money. And I think also like I never got a job, like a side hustle to support my artwork. And looking back, that was kind of stupid because it was a huge risk. But I think when you're young, you have that like naive kind of attitude.
You have to.
Yeah, there was no other choice.
We did a program with the I had a student, I asked him, I'm like, what are you going to do with this? Like, you're making $7,000 a month selling a sweatshirt. Like, what are you going to do? And he's like, well, I got to get a job. I'm like, oh, you're never going to sell another sweatshirt.
Nah.
And so we actually made him an entrepreneur in residence at UConn. He did like $2.5 million in sales last year.
I love that.
Right? He's 22, 23. I don't know.
Good on him.
His mother is mad at me. I think she's getting over it. Like, I think
she should probably get over it pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're now like, yeah, he's validated. He's like, if we have something big, he's a guy we go to.
Yeah.
Run it by him, see if he's interested.
Yeah.
He had to. Yeah. But he had to not go get a job.
Yeah. I think that I did this thing at uni in the UK. You're allowed to do placement year. So it's a 4-year course and then you can have your 3rd year in industry. And I picked to do that. And I worked at GSK at GlaxoSmithKline on Aquafresh.
That sounds super exciting.
Oh my God. I just could not.
Could you imagine you could be working in a pharmacy?
Could you imagine? Could you imagine?
They would not have let you wear bras on the bottom of your...
I know. And I think that was another reason why I knew I couldn't do it. I just wanted to come in and literally just talk about my Tinder dates at work and everyone was just like, what are you doing here? And I was like, I genuinely don't know. Like, I knew that I was fucked. Sorry, I don't know if I swear.
Yeah, you can swear.
Okay, I knew that I was absolutely fucked in that job when I came in on a Monday after working there for 3 months and my manager asked me to clean the store cupboard.
Yeah. What is a store cupboard? I have no idea, but I assume it's demeaning to ask you to do it.
It was full of toothpaste,
nice.
Old stock.
Oh, old stock.
Well, like archived toothpaste stock, yeah. And also I remember there was this because I think they did
You made the right choice.
Thank you. Yeah, I won't go on about that. But yeah, no, I
think I did. You made the right
did.
choice, right? Like, I mean...
But honestly, it was only because I was not good. And I just knew in my head, I knew when I have to fucking be good at something. I have to. And it just wasn't manifesting itself in the other things. So it was just a natural step. And that's what it's always been.
I don't know when, but in the last 3 days, 4 days, I've had this conversation. You can't do the things you love. You have to do the things you're good at and you will love them.
Yeah, 100%.
If you're good, Chris is a perfect example. He's not good at anything but this. And now he loves it.
That's a fact.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You come out of school and they have all these expectations for you. And it's that's somebody else's dream, right?
Yeah. I mean.
When did you, well, better yet, was there a time where you're like, no, this ain't going to work?
With the art?
Really, not just the passing fleeting, but the desperation, the sadness.
Honestly, no.
Really?
Honestly, no. It's never been an option. It's just a matter of time. Even now, we still go through the struggles now as a business. If I do a drop and it's not as well received as the past one, you have periods of it being, you think it's over. But I think the thing that I've always found is I am actually really resilient in terms of I can be crying one day and I will just literally just be I don't know, there's just this inner fire that I just don't mind about it. And I think I'm drawn to those periods of chaos and uncertainty. I don't know, I can just bounce back up. And I've always had that, having a mum because I remember I think I'm addicted to being rejected. I don't know. I feel I'm always rejected from things.
Do you have these moments? I have them, I can tell you. Do you have these moments in the middle of the night where the whole fucking house of cards is just going to fall down?
Sorry?
In the middle of the night, I wake up, I look out my window, I have all of New York City in front of me. I'm I can't believe I made it here. You ever seen my view? It's sick.
Is that?
Yeah, it's sick. It's disturbing. I have windows that long looking at Manhattan from my bedroom. And I say, tomorrow is the day it all just falls apart. Everybody realizes I'm an idiot tomorrow. The Lego comes out, the Jenga thing comes down. Do you ever have that where you're and then you wake up in the morning and you're fuck that, not today?
I have wobbles a lot.
We don't have that word in English either.
Oh, wobbles.
Yeah, it's like your stomach.
Yeah,
stomach
or just
doubt.
I do have doubt a lot, but I don't know whether this is ingrained in me because I do know that you've just got to believe in what you're doing in yourself. Otherwise, no one else will believe in it too. So I don't often let my mind fully go there. It's
not so much me. It's the burden of carrying the house of cards.
I mean, yeah, I mean, if we're
You know
being
what I mean?
honest,
It's all the other people,
yeah.
the people that are working, the people that are getting paychecks, the people that are
Yeah.
struggling and trying to work with you, and like it's all on you. That gets me. And then I have I'm an idiot. Like, how did I get all these people into this shit?
Yeah, I think last year was particularly tough for me because I overextended myself, to be honest. Like, I had a lot of staff. I think there was 15 at one point, and I'm just a painter. Like, the way they get paid is when I sell my artwork, which means I have to paint more artwork, and I was reproducing lots of stuff that I wasn't proud of. So, like, I mean, I'm going through a bit of a period where I'm like readjusting. But I think about 10 months ago, I was like, I knew that something needed to change, actually, because I was feeling a bit, there was a lot of weight on me. And I feel like as a creative, that's what you're getting paid to do. And it became a bit
You
much
realize
like
we
a
only
business.
talked for like 30 seconds in LA?
Me and you?
Yeah. It was like 30 seconds long.
Really?
That was it.
In LA?
Yeah.
When was LA?
In
D'Amelios.
It was like 30 seconds. That was it.
Really?
Yep. Yeah. It was interesting. So you're at that position where you're trying to figure out what to do
that
with
was
your life.
then.
Yeah. And
But yeah, it was because I was,
that was it.
Well, I fell in love and I moved to Sydney, and I feel like as a place, Sydney, I love it, but it's just not the centre of the art world, and the career is the most important thing in my life, and I just wasn't getting that from that place. So I knew I needed to move, but like, I mean, boring adult chat, but moving your life across the world is like kind of a big thing. Well, not for me, but
It was pretty big for you too. You didn't put a TikTok out for 3 weeks. Someone said, "What happened to the TikToks for this period?" I said, "Well, she was busy shooting herself with drugs for her eggs."
yeah.
And then she moved to London. And then when she got to London, she had a show for like 3,000 people just waiting a couple weeks later. What are you thinking? How do you jam it in?
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't even know if this is going to have a flow, but yeah, I am at a bit of a crazy stage right now because, well, I had to like rebuild. I had to start again when I moved to Sydney because I got stuck there during COVID, and I already had a team and a gallery in London, and things was just beginning to like actually pick up for me. And then obviously, whatever, COVID was great for me personally because everyone was literally at home looking at the 4 blank walls, and I was like, here's your art. So that was fab, and I could produce in Sydney because it wasn't as locked down as anywhere else in the world. So that was great. So basically, I'd set up my life in Sydney, and Hamish, who you met, and Ella, who you met, like I had a bit of a team, like, because I wanted, because Hamish.
Was Ella in London or
Ella's
Sydney?
in London.
Okay.
Hamish is in Sydney. Hamish did all my TikToks and like blew us up there, and like obviously you met Hamish, and
he did
I
a good
love
job.
him. Yeah, he did an amazing job.
What I think, if you tune into your Instagram, your Sophie Tea Art Instagram, your TikTok, a lot of girls could look at it and go, "Oh, that's so cool."
That's nice.
Yeah. But like, it's not that easy.
It's constant. I mean, like, honestly, it's my entire life. It's all I think about. It's all ever since I started, it's all I've ever done and thought about. And that's okay. And I love it. So it's fine. But it is an entire lifestyle. It's everything. It's all I do.
I have a student who started, she actually sat here, there, whatever, was in a group of girls that we brought in to meet with some media folks and do these different things. And she said, "Well, I really want to do this." I said, "All right, we'll get you." So we started April 1, and she like grew her account, starts growing, gets a couple 500,000-600,000
Amazing
TikToks in the first month, starts adding, she's up over 1,000 subscribers on the TikTok. She's like, "Oh, I haven't posted this week. I got finals." And I'm like, that's free content.
I know, man.
That's free content. Like, you didn't post this week because you have finals? Like, you don't care that much. You don't care that much. You can't stop.
Yeah.
When you're starting.
Yeah.
Like, that's my thing is like, you have to care. You have to think about it. You have to obsess about it. Who do you know that's massively successful that doesn't live that lifestyle?
Yeah, it's not a thing.
Why do you love painting?
the possibilities are absolutely endless. You can never stop. You can never complete it. It's just so many options. Even with the 3 primary colors, you can make any fucking color you want in the entire world. And you can. And I think it's just like a way for me to express myself. And also, like, in life normally, I mean, you'll probably see it for this, like conversations like darting and whatever, but like, it's the only thing that I can do. And I'm just like, oh my God, I'm calm. And I'm like so hyper-focused and in the zone and like productive. Everything else, I'm not very good at, to be honest. And it's the thing that is what you said before. It's like about being good at something. Like, I'm good at it. And that's why I like it.
Do you need someone else to tell you you're good at it, or do you just know?
I think I need validating career-wise. I think I do have a bit of a chip on my shoulder, to be honest, about like being kind of accepted by establishment. And I don't really know why I have that, because I'm constantly rejected by it. And then I think my partner said to me, Sophie, you're driven by the fuck you. And I think that is true, because I'm never like allowed to like be in it. But
how many people do you want to see you on this tour in the US?
I'd like to do, on the first round, I'd like to do 6 venues. And ideally, the venues would be as big as the London Palladium. But no one bloody knows me in America, so we'll see about that. But I mean, also, that's what I want. And in my head, it's already happened.
And you see, and they'll come and see you, but there'll be so many more people that see you.
Yeah, I'm excited. But also, do you know why I'm actually excited? Because I genuinely believe that if someone comes and sees what we're offering, they're going to leave feeling a bit nicer about themselves. Like, that's what like I want my art to really do. Like,
so let's explain it for people what what this is. So you're a painter, which you've already said.
Yeah.
But you have a live show.
Okay, so basically, I paint nude women. That's like what I
explained
do.
Last night. I was with a former United States Senator, ran for president.
Love that.
And he said, well, what else are you doing? And I said, because it's like, we're going to make a TV show about your father and this and this and this. And he says, well, what else are you doing? And I said, I got this wicked artist from England, and she lived in Australia and all these things. And someone looks and says something, and I said, well, I know how she introduces herself now because I've seen it. She said, she paints nude women.
Yeah.
And he looks and I said, yeah. So I pull out the video from the Palladium and I show him, and he goes, well, David, I'm not going to do that. He's 80 years old.
Yeah.
You know?
I love how it makes some people a bit like, I like the disarming.
He loved it.
Yeah.
He loved it. But he was just not, going to be one of your nudies.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
I'll work on him.
No, I mean, we'll let him go. But so what is the live show?
So the live show is, I mean, it started as a nude catwalk. So I have these nudies and we open applications kind of once every couple of years. This time we had 10,000 women apply to walk naked, and we, rent a massive venue, a huge catwalk, and I paint all over their body, and some banging music is playing, and basically they just strut their stuff to an audience of thousands of people, and everyone's cheering and everyone's just like, you're amazing. And that's pretty much it. The energy is like honestly electric, but I guess more recently it's developed into more of a stage show performance. And I mean, literally the last one was at the Palladium. I've actually never spoken in public before, so I was so weirdly nervous before. I've never experienced nerves like this. Honestly, before I was like a potato. I was like, I remember I was cold and it was just bizarre, and then I couldn't breathe. And then basically I was at the side and then of the stage, and then they introduced my name, and then I went on and it was absolutely fine. And I can say I did actually enjoy it. But then I tell a bit of my story, which is I'm the boring part of it. It's literally like 5 minutes opening. And then, sorry, I'm blabbing, but the next section is like a live painting section. And I had a choir come on, and one of my past nudies, Victoria, came on, and she was completely naked. She was my live model.
Some video for this so you can see it.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, we can clip in some video.
Okay,
we have video.
Okay.
Yeah. So Victoria came on.
Victoria came on. She was my...
she made everybody cry.
I know. She's amazing.
2,700 people crying.
I know, man.
Did you cry? Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Even the British people cried. I didn't think they were supposed to.
Yeah, I know. We are emotional as well when you crack us. But no, honestly, and it just solidified to me that I just know what I'm doing now. Like, and I just want to spread it. But I think, as you said, 6, 7, 8 changes, that show can be like 10 out of 10. Like, it has all the elements. I mean, we were scrambling. I put it together in 3 weeks. Like, I mean, it was me producing it and like designing the set and like doing the whole thing. And like, to be honest, like I was super out of my depth. But I always feel like as a founder, you always have to do things for the first time. And then once you've achieved that, then you can get other people who are better than you and more talented to do it for the second. But I feel like I had to go through that process of just like scrambling and getting it done. But
there's something really scrappy about the way you've attacked this for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And one of the things that people have asked me, why do you think this is such a big deal? And one of the things I keep coming back to is your reinvestment in yourself.
Yeah.
And like nothing says I believe in myself. Like I'm going to make money, but I'm going to take it. And instead of just like putting it in the bank, I'm going to keep piling it on this.
Yeah.
How big is Sophie Tea? How big is it? The business. Eventually, not today.
Okay.
How, like, you're making investments. You're your own investor.
Yeah. I probably spend too much money on it. I've
You
actually
do,
got,
but that's all right.
Yeah. But I actually.
You're doing it your own way. Like,
Yeah.
This is a different, there's no model.
Well, the thing is, I can't actually sell it because it's me and I actually don't want to sell it. So I just reinvest it into making it bigger and making each drop bigger.
Well, you could put cash here and put cash there.
I know. Well, my CEO has started to, he came on board 6 months ago and he's like cleaned a lot of things up, which is absolutely fabulous. But I would like to be turning over probably 20 mil in a couple of years. That's my goal with it.
I think you're way too modest. Way too modest. I think like when you start to make these size investments you're making, like you have to think about it in the return on what you're going to get. And you're making massive investments in yourself. Not just from time, not just from money, but from time and from opportunity cost and different things. So like you need to return, a lot more to yourself.
Do you know what? That's why I like actually love this country. Like I feel like the US is just like, I mean, I've literally only spent the past 4 days here, but I'm just realized, I think I said it in the car to you the other day, I'm just a tiny, tiny, tiny fish. Like this is just like a world of like opportunity. And I'm just like so excited to just get cracking. Like, yeah, I guess the market's only so big.
$100 million a month. 100 million a month, something like that.
We just did. Yeah.
Mr. Beast does like 100 million a month. And when we dig into it and look at it, that's the comparable. That's the comparable. The female Mr. Beast.
That's nice.
Doing these components
Our
that
last
are
drop.
additional.
Our last drop did 2.5 million. But my market is only so big, so I can't push that again anytime soon.
Right.
But that's why I need to grow my audience.
On media. You're not pulling media yet.
Yeah, we're not.
Yeah. And so that's why I say your 20 million, your 20 million might be paintings. Might be show. Right?
Just for a better frame of reference, the latest numbers are 600 to 700 million annually.
Annually? I think they're low.
Probably.
You pulling them off the internet?
Yeah, like NBC.
So he did the Amazon deal for 100 million.
Yep.
And what it came across was that's about a month's worth of work.
Mm-hmm.
But what Amazon does, like there's nobody my age that knows who Mr. Beast is. Like if he was sitting right here, the four of us, I would only know him because I met your mother earlier.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't pick him out of a lineup on the street. I wouldn't know who he is.
Yeah.
And they need to, the reason they're going to Amazon is they got to get past that Avon Noble, who's doing a creatorship podcast, teaching this stuff, running around the world, doesn't even know him facially.
Yeah. God, he's amazing.
Right.
It's absolutely amazing. And he did the same, right? I mean, he's just
He just
reinvested
invested in
anything.
himself.
Has he got any investors?
I don't know if he does or doesn't, but he may. But he's invested in himself at this
Yeah.
point. You know, he continually
It's
takes it and flips it
amazing.
back in.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think that's the comp, right? Like when you start to look at what can this business be, and it's the comp for almost anyone. Like it can be that under circumstances, right? And when I start to dig into who has the chance to be that, there aren't that many people, because they need what I think Mr. Beast brings to the table so much better than most people. Is it's not just content about getting on a private jet or going here, or going there, or going. It's like we bought a supermarket and locked some idiots in it, right? Like, what's going to happen? Let's see. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you start to build out these pieces. It's not reliant upon him acting a certain way. It's a creative, you know, create a TV show on YouTube, right? Like, I always wonder about the guys that like do 20 million, 30 million YouTube watch. They got 20 million YouTube watchers playing video games.
Yeah.
What happens if nobody likes that video game anymore? Right? Like that sucks. But Mr. Beast can just come up with the next thing that's bigger.
Yeah.
And that's so I know someone that looked at Dollar Shave Club and she didn't invest. And
Yeah.
she said, I missed the opportunity of a lifetime.
Yeah.
So she went out and she said, what's the female version of that?
Yeah.
And it was hair color. And so she built that company. It's $1 billion company today.
No way.
So when I look at it and I say, what is the female version of Mr. Beast?
That's very, very, very flattering. And honestly, that is something I do aspire to, but like, fucking got a lot of work to do. Like we need to, well, I think I want this next stage of my business to be like, we're a social media business. Like we are not playing
Multimedia
the
artist.
art game. Yeah.
Multimedia artist. Because again, I asked you this question a long time ago and I said, if you're not doing this or doing that, like when everything quiets up, what do you go do? Paint.
Yeah.
So you have to paint. It has to be a part of it.
It has to be.
But like, who's painting naked ladies on stage?
Yeah, I've never seen anyone do that, which is good because that doesn't often happen as an artist. Everyone's done it before.
And I'm
Everyone's
like,
repurposing ideas.
You can't make this is me. You can't make a show about painting naked ladies on stage. How can you make a show
That's
of this?
what you said this morning, wasn't it? And my partner said that too as well. She was, because everyone before the show was like, oh yeah, I've got tickets to Soph's show because I do want to support
We're going to
her.
watch her paint?
But
it's like
what
watching.
is it? And I was like, and you were like, oh, I don't really
It's literally
know.
like watching paint dry, right? Like, oh, no way. But when you executed it, and I was like, oh, that's fucking genius. Because she didn't paint the whole painting. She just started it.
Yeah.
Right? Like.
I mean, that wasn't even bloody planned. I think I probably should have got a bit further on that painting. But it was fine.
No,
was
not
fine,
in front of everybody. It's there. It's going to be it'll be in the YouTube. It'll be in the show.
Yeah.
It'll be something. Like that creates a uniqueness to that paint. I'm like, oh, like
that
this
was
is
how
genius.
when she got in 12 minutes. Yeah, no,
Right?
it was
Like, because you can't paint the painting. To your point, there's too many variables. You're never done.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. Overworking it is the classic thing. I think that for I know that a skill.
Do you think you're dumb?
I think sometimes, well, yes, but also what I think is that I have a low attention span. So if anything that I find entertaining or interesting or looks nice, I have a very high bar. So sometimes in my head, if I'm like, I think that'll be fine, normally it's going to be great.
Okay.
So that's why I wasn't too worried about the show, because I was like, if I can get it to a level in my head that I'm happy with it, I know that'll be fine. Also, I'm not going to name the name, but I did actually go to a show before I left Sydney. I went to the Sydney Opera House, saw a show for someone that has a similar following. all she did, honestly, there was a similar following to us, audience the same size, same market, women age 25, 45, sick. I was like, right, I'm at the show, I'm going to steal all the ideas, right? 2 white chairs on the stage. All she did was just chat. Just an interviewer who was an unknown just interviewed her, and everyone was like, oh my God, like lapping it up. And I was like, I've got this show in the bag. If these people are obviously her fans and they're just like, and I was, maybe we shouldn't, but I was just so bored.
Yeah.
I was like, this is fucking awful. Will was sat next to me. Will was like, let's fucking go. And I'm like, no, babe, like I need to steal all the ideas. The one idea I stole was she had someone introduce her.
Yeah.
And I was going to come on and be the first one on to be like, hi, everyone, welcome. Yeah. And the idea that I stole was that someone warmed the audience up before, and I had Josh, who used to work in my gallery, do that. And he did a fab job.
Nice outfit.
Great outfit.
Nice outfit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think, when I think about it, in one of the pieces about this creatorship, about this entrepreneurship piece is like, the person has to be wrapped up in the narrative. They write the narrative. They build the narrative. It doesn't have to be their name. It doesn't have to be just them, but they have to be wrapped up in it. And I think they have to live it. Yeah. You don't have the opportunity to go to work and be this and then get off work and then not be that.
100%.
And, it's remarkable how taxing that is. And nobody that doesn't do it seems to be able to understand.
Yeah, I mean,
what's your life like in your head?
Honestly, it's like never enough.
Yeah.
I have a thing where I'm just like more. My partner was saying this to me the other day, like he's just like, God, so if you're never happy, look at all the things. But that's okay. Like I'm honestly fine. Like I think that I'm lucky in the sense that not very many people just want it to be morning so much so they can just get on and just like go do their job. Like I'm excited the night before. I'm like, honestly, I'll get into bed and I'll be like, can it just be the morning so I could have my coffee and just like get up and go? Like, and I think that that's rare. So like, that's what I take pleasure from. But I think in terms of like life and like social life and all that type of stuff, I think more recently, I've realized that my idea of having fun is watching people in a room that I love having fun. And I know that's weird, but I think that that's like also what I've built with my business. It's like about giving like women a platform to tell their story, and that I get a lot of pleasure out of that, like watching it. And it's, I guess it's like, maybe like, oh, maybe that's bullshit because it's like obviously your name and like I'm the artist, and it is a bit of an ego thing. Like I've got a gallery with my name on it and stuff, but I feel like my happy place is like watching.
Can't you have an ego and have a high quality, like I like that people are enjoying this thing? You know what I mean? Like, can it be both? Like I like fancy clothes and I like helping people.
Yeah.
Like, can't those two things go together?
I guess that's what I'm trying to build. But I think that I'm always a bit like conflicted by that sometimes.
I think this cancel culture atmosphere that's evolved the last 5 years is like people want to make you feel bad for having achieved things. Also, I see this over and over again where it's like, well, if you've achieved something, then you're bad and everybody else is good that's trying to achieve something. And it's like, well, can it be both?
Yeah, I guess that, I mean, there's two things. I mean, I lived in Australia for 4 years, and like tall poppy syndrome is like a huge thing there. And like, that's why I love the US, because I don't believe that that's the truth in the US. I think people are really rooting for you. Like if someone drives down the road in a Ferrari, like, oh my God, you're a legend. Like, how did you get it? Like, amazing. Whereas like my partner always says in Australia, it's like, oh, who did you fuck over? So like, I think I've got a bit of that like culture ingrained in me.
In America, the unique thing I think about America is that your success is what defines you. So not your failure. So you can have 100 failures and 1 success and you're successful.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think with what I'm trying to build, I think I'm just like walking, not on purpose, but like I'm conscious of not. Well, I wanted the brand to be accessible. Like what I stand for is the fact that, I used to go into a gallery and there were white walls and I'd go in, I just like feel intimidated to be there because like you're not good enough or like you didn't want to ask a question because the woman's like staring at you. Like
wine is like that. If you ever go to Napa Valley, it's the same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm telling you now, they need to invent a wine
has to be
company.
The perfect. They did. It was called Yellowtail. The Australians came up with it.
Oh,
it blew up the U.S. market. Nobody drank wine in the United States of America 25 years ago.
Really?
Yes. You couldn't understand it. It was exactly that. It wasn't accessible.
Yeah. And well, exactly. And like, that's not actually what I'm trying to build. Like, I mean, I want an experience as an artist that I feel welcome to go into a gallery and like I don't want to feel afraid to ask stupid questions because I know they'll be stupid. So like I'm not like I don't know like loads and loads about the art world and the art industry, and I think part of that is because I'm kind of embarrassed to even ask the question or like immerse myself in it because I just like fear of rejection again, I guess. But I think what I'm trying to build is like being a brand for just the normal fucking person that just likes creative aesthetic things. And there's nothing wrong with that. I saw something, this is random, I don't know, but Harry Styles said something. I think he said like, because obviously he has a lot of young female fans. And I think he said something about...
Surprised.
Oh, yeah, sorry. My claim to fame is that he went to a nearby school, but nearby, not the same. And it's not actually a good hook. But so he said... Why aren't I like deemed as like, fuck, I want to absolutely fudge this. I don't know what he said. But the fact that he has fans that are young girls, why aren't they style makers? Why aren't they, why isn't that cool? Like they have an opinion and like lots of people, he's popular, lots of people like him. He's also edgy. So like fucking scrap that. Like that was a bad example. But like, I don't know why.
What do you like about Harry Styles?
I like that. I like that he writes his own songs, and he's like in control of it.
Huh.
I mean, I don't really know too much about him, to be honest.
Really? But he went to a nearby school.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I do know quite a lot about him.
Did you guys not walk? Did you walk to the bus?
I actually saw him one time. Because he was going to go to our college, but he was on X Factor that summer. And I remember that he drove into our college. I was a year above him. He drove into our college in a Range Rover to pick up one of the girls. Everyone was like, "That's Harry. He's on the X Factor."
That was good whispering.
Was it?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do you think that you can keep creating a bigger version?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you think there's a point where you just like, all right, I'm done?
Nah.
No.
Nah.
You can't. You can't see that world where you're sitting in Ibiza or sitting there like not going back to work.
No. I mean, the thing is, like, I just don't enjoy that now. It's not what I aspire to do. I couldn't think of anything. I went to Miami the other day. Did I go to Miami Beach? No.
Yeah.
Did I just go around the
It's
art
not
galleries?
very nice.
Is it not? I've heard it's quite good. I know. I was like, I'm in Miami. Like everyone parties here. It's known for the beaches. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, so just don't give yourself a hard time. You're just not that girl. Just like, don't wash your hair and go to some art galleries. It's fine.
Yeah. And they didn't know who you were.
Absolutely no idea. That's why I said to you in the car, I was like, this needs to change. And I see artists that are smaller than me on Instagram around on the streets and on murals, and I'm thinking, it's time. Yeah.
Time. So Instagram is a measure.
Yeah, it is actually.
It
is actually, yeah. I mean, TikTok's not, obviously, because I'm not as motivated to post on there. We really blew up really quickly. I think
it allows that. The platform allows that. The type
great.
of content that you do, it's so authentic. It flows through.
Yeah,
People
but actually
find
we
you.
make no money from TikTok. Like everything is Instagram. That's why I'm like in my head, like,
Well, that's
Instagram,
for conversion.
Instagram's for conversion, but it's also that, I mean, it's the social media stamp of approval, isn't it? So
that's what, all right.
Yeah, I know you've got me there, and its success is driven by that number. Yeah, there's a bit of that.
A bit of that.
Yeah, well, a lot of that.
A lot of that.
Fuck.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have guessed that.
Really?
Right. I wouldn't have. It wouldn't have seemed, because like here's the thing is like there's 5 ways that you could grow that number by 5, 10, 20, and you don't do it, and you don't. Well, just however you wanted to do it. There's 5 different ways to do it, and you won't do it. You continue to maintain who you are on that platform, even though that platform is a look at me platform in a different way.
100.
And so,
yeah.
So I kind of would say, oh, this is what she's trying to do. So there's that number. That's the fuck you of it.
Yeah, it's got to
right. You're not going to bend, but that number has to move.
Yeah.
But that
yeah.
That number has to move.
Yeah.
But I mean, like 20, 30 mil. That's I'll be more impressed.
But I just know that I can convert it though, you know? I know I'm good at converting on
Why do you know how to convert it? Where did you learn that?
I just do it so much. Like, oh my God, like I've been doing
you
it
don't
for
even
10
think
years.
about it, or because like so
it's changing.
One of the pieces, like if you're going to be in creatorship, right? Like you start creating things, you do this, you do that. I don't care if you make a bowl in real life, if you have a podcast, you do whatever, you start to monetize it, and conversion actually matters. So like moving views to follows to membership, whatever it may be, to sales. That actually matters.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. And so I have no idea what I was saying.
That's
but
fine.
It's really, really, that conversion component is just, now I remember. That conversion component is overlooked at how hard it is. And yet when we dug into your social media a year, 18 months ago, it was like, oh, this, and I think I've actually told him, like, this is a conversion machine. Like you built a conversion machine.
Yeah.
And so like most people can't do it.
Well, do you know why? I think it's because I haven't pushed it and done those things that you have to do to get, like, I haven't run any ads ever. Like it's so like, I'll never do anything that's off brand. I'll never, you know, I'm just keep it very sacred. And I think people trust it.
Your brand's pretty easy for you.
Yeah, it's pretty easy.
For you. I mean, your brand is you.
Yeah.
It's authentic. It's really you.
Yeah.
There's more behind the wheel. I get it.
Yeah,
but it is you.
Yeah, that's nice. I mean, how exhausting would it be if you made something that actually wasn't you? Oh my God.
That's what people
hats
do.
off to them.
So, I mean, like literally when you walk through new social media people, we bring in content creators every single day and they say, all right, do this, try all these different things. When something hits, double down, follow it, move forward on those pathways. But like, and don't do the same thing if nobody's biting.
Yeah.
And what you're saying is,
well, it's just like when you're making new stuff, or like stuff that doesn't exist, or like stuff you have to, no one's going to like it first.
Yeah, for sure.
So you've got to like.
It's like this podcast. I'm not very good at it yet. Right?
Yeah, I mean, you're pretty
Chris,
good.
He keeps, they keep having these conversations. And I'm like, dude, this is like the 10th podcast I've ever had. Like, thank you.
I'm having a lovely conversation.
Wow.
I think I think you're really good at.
About you.
Yeah. Okay. Fair.
Yeah. No, thank you, Chris. You know, it's hotter than hell these days. But no, I mean, I think that piece, like, to me, I'm like, I don't expect it to be good, like yet. Like it takes time. Like you have to learn what you're doing yet.
Yeah.
Like we really quickly had a good trick, which was like we end the podcast and then keep talking. Keep recording. That's always fun. You can find some things there, some hidden gems, because like people mentally stop trying to sell.
Oh yeah.
Right, and then they're just like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
blah.
yeah, and then that's
right?
like
because that's the hard part is getting people to talk.
Yeah,
and like be themselves. Like, hey, just like be yourself. Like you're
100%.
You don't have to be smart here. Like you don't have to be pretty. You don't have to be super famous. Like we're not like. But most of the people have about that 500,000 to 1.5 million followers that have been on here. And they brought some really good ideas forward. And one of the things is like that, investing in what your audience wants, right? Like following the data, following the trends, following this, those are growth mechanisms. We don't see that happening on your accounts. And to your point, I think you're growing, but not at the same rate as other people. But the people on your account are your people.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wish it was growing more quickly, but I do agree with that. We're just slowly, everyone's like, how did you like get a big following? And I'm like, it's just fucking happened incrementally over a period of 10 years. Like there's no like secret sauce. I just keep going and like we just keep slowly building and we just keep never.
Let's ask this question this way.
Okay, cool.
Why did we brought your accounts to an agency, one of the big 3 agencies?
Yeah.
Why do you think they've been bothering us for 4 months to get you into the office? 4 months. Now, Russ tells me they never, ever bother you.
Really?
Why are they bothering to get you?
Well, I'm not doing anything. I'm not switching on any of the levers at all. And to be honest, that's laziness.
But the agency wants you. The agency sees something on the talent side. What do you think they see?
I honestly don't know. It seems too good to be true. And I've told you that before. I don't really know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Is it worrisome?
No, I love it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Oh my God. Yeah. Like try it. Like.
Yeah. You know what they see? They see the authentic appeal to young women. They see the Mr. Beast comp.
Yeah.
They can look at it and go, people are going to tune in the second they know, and then they're going to stay because it's real.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So just keep,
So we just stopped you?
just keep being
No,
normal.
but I mean, no.
Yeah, I think, I don't know. I've always found that oversharing easy. Like I was one of those people when I was like 16 on Facebook, like would be like, oh my God, it's just like got absolutely special night out. Like it's no issue for me to overshare. I don't know. Sometimes mum's like, Sophie, take that off. I'm like, whatever.
And
I don't know what to
it's
say,
not the
like-
oversharing though, right? I mean, it can't be the oversharing. There's plenty of people that overshare.
I don't know.
Very rarely will someone have this perspective in life. Tomorrow they're walking into a big 3 agency that wants to sign them. And you're being recorded today. That's pretty unique.
My QAnon aunt is not getting offers from UTA, posting on
Yeah.
Facebook. She's not.
Yeah.
Sorry, who's that?
Oh, QAnon. His QAnon aunt. His aunt that likes President Trump and every conspiracy
Okay,
that's ever
sorry.
existed. You know what I mean? Like, there's plenty of people oversharing on social media.
Yeah, I honestly
it's
don't
not
know
that.
why.
It's not that. But
No,
what do you what
I
do
do
you
know
think?
why. It's
Like,
fucking you, David. Obviously, you just put me in these rooms with these people. I'm like, hey,
No. Because, like, as I said, many people have said, no, this isn't it. But, like, they're saying, like, look, I couldn't get you in the room if they weren't saying now. And now's the time for her. What is it? Yeah. I'm going to force you. I'm not letting you out of here. I got 6 minutes. But I mean,
don't
really
know,
dig
like,
into it.
okay.
Dig into your person, like, because this is an interesting thing. Most people never have that time to stop and think about tomorrow and do it. And like you really do. What do you think? They love what you're doing. You had one meeting. Russ has said he's had a 35-year career in the media, Today's Show, the Olympics, Pawn Stars, Alone, the Men,
Well,
the
from
Man,
that
all
one
these
call-
things.
from
He's
that
had all
one-
these things before that call. Do you think they just do this willy-nilly on a phone call? Like they went through everything on your social. And they called him back and they're like, let's get her on the phone that day in December. And they're like, if we can get her in the next day here in New York, we would do it. And we ran interference for you to do what you had to do while you had to do it. And now I want to know, why do you think they're losing their mind to get you in there? Because these are not like, this isn't David Noble.
This is like being
This isn't
punked or
Mom.
something. I don't know.
It's
like,
not Chris Mueller.
Definitely.
This is people that look at the world and go, this person's going to be the biggest artist in the world, and we can help make her do that. And why do you think they see it? What do you think it is about you? Like, it's not like you're not running around naked, actually, right? Like you're not Kardashian. You're not dancing, although you might dance with your tea. You might do this, but you're not dancing. You're not Charlie D'Amelio. You're not LA Hype House. But they're looking at this going, wow, this is interesting.
I think that my entire career I've been quite difficult to place. I think that I'm a painter, but I think in some ways I bridge the gap between art and pop culture. And so far that's been a bad thing because I've, ever since I've had a spare £3,000 in my account every month, I've always invested in PR. And it's been a difficult journey because it's like, what are we offering? And I think that, I don't know, maybe it's just, I've always known, and this is why I'm always like, fuck, why aren't I massive yet? Like, I just know that the world does need like this, or like, that reminder that as women, we can just go for it and we are okay. And I guess the world's catching up. I don't know. Like,
yeah, it's time. It's just
nice.
time. You built a product.
Yeah.
And the world's ready for it.
That's nice.
And I think that's what we're going to see. And now, how do we execute? And how do you execute and move it forward and do that?
Yeah.
And that becomes yours. But thank you for answering that. But we had to get to that. I mean, no. You wanted to fight it, but I think you got to it. And I think what's really interesting is, and I've heard you say this before, is if I were a pop star, my size as an artist, I'd be massive if I was a pop star. And I think that's what they see. I think they see. And so I know Russ will say this, you're a multimedia artist. Like you're doing art on many different medias. And you've experimented around with technology, with NFTs, with different things, right? I'm sure there'll be a day where you're playing with AI and like doing stuff but I mean, that piece, well, it's just time. And so every success story is a 10-year overnight success story, right? And like you have now seen enough people in my world that I've been saying this to them for a long time.
I know.
Right?
It's kind of felt like too good to be true for so long. And then I rock up to that party the day. This like famous person comes up, you're the Sophie that David's been talking about. It's nice, David. I mean,
I'm totally self-absorbed person. So like, it's not that. It's like, here's the thing. Here's a person that could be the biggest thing. Like when you said that to me, I want to be the biggest artist in the world. I had the aha. Like, well, so national championship. I've told this story before. I walk into the locker room, have no idea why I'm in the locker room. Coaches don't come. University of Connecticut's down to 6 guys. They shut the door. It's me and 6 players. I have no idea why I'm there. I look around. Chris has been in class. I start talking about random shit. Like, all right, let's figure it out. Finally, I look at a guy. His name's Andre Jackson. Also a guy that wants to be an artist. An exceptional Renaissance human being. He's about 6'6" and can jump higher than anybody in the world. They call him Spider-Man. I mean, he's like insane, but he's intense. And he is like, and so he's like this, and I'm talking, and I'm like, oh shit, like Andre's ready to go.
Yeah.
So I do another trick I use. Hey, Andre, why am I here? Because I still don't know why I'm here. I'm just talking randomly. Nervous. Not many. He goes, you're here because you want to win. And I had that aha. Yes, I want to win. I want to win. And then last year at the White House, after we won, I was like, I want to win again. And I want to win again. Like, I want to come back to the White House every single year because that's what I am owed by the world because of who I am. Right? And I saw that in Andre, and I knew months before anyone else that we were going to win that national championship. I had bought it in November. We weren't even ranked. We weren't even a ranked team. And now we're 2 in. I wouldn't be surprised if we do the unheard of 3P and win 3 in a row. But in that meeting, in that conversation, I didn't know what I was doing either. And I said, like, all I know is how to help people do this thing. And you said, I want to be the biggest artist in the world. And I was like, that sounds fun, right? Like that sounds fun. There's somebody for this. And I'll tell you this, another piece of that, like I didn't even know the people that could help make that happen at that time. Right? But I was like, that sounds fun. Like that's worth trying for. So, I mean, I think.
How am I going to pay you though?
Yeah, we'll all.
Well,
the hard way. It's like, we'll figure it out. But the Creatorship podcast couldn't have happened without you. Like we built programs to help young women get involved in entrepreneurship based upon the work you were doing online. Like we didn't know you. We didn't have any relation. As some of my staff says, you're some random artist, right? Like, but it was like, oh, this is how you can do this and be a young woman and not feel like you have to be, put a sweaty fat guy in a basement spending 10 years because she got paid faster than 10 years, right? Like it might have felt not good, but it did happen faster than 10 years. So we've seen that. And so like you've put these things into the world. And after the show, I said this, it's not the painting that's the art. It's everything else that's the art. It's the magic. And like, that's where we're going to be able to allow you to grow is into these other spaces that allow you to do those things. And I think that's where you're going to get to be the biggest artist in the world. When 15-year-old girls suddenly don't feel bad about who they are.
Yeah.
Right? Like when all of them.
Yeah.
When they look at what you're doing and say, that's me.
So why do you specifically, why are you specifically motivated to help women?
My mother was a single mother, and so she ran a business, and I mean, it's as simple as that.
Yeah.
So like we grew up we've owned a funeral home for a long time, family business, and so just seeing what that was like and seeing the challenges and going through that, and one of the things we don't talk about like diversity, inclusion, and equity. We always talk about accessibility in our programs because like. We want to give people access to things because people thought my mother was joking when she's like, I want to be a funeral director. And they're like, no. Right?
Yeah.
You want to own a funeral home? Why? What? Like, that's not a thing people want to do.
Yeah.
So I think oftentimes we're made to feel bad about our own decisions and much more so on women. And so, you're an educator, you watch these problems, you watch these things, you see the statistics. And at some point you realize you either do something about it or you're part of the problem. And I couldn't live with that. That's simple. That's an easy one.
Well, that makes you pretty rare.
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, I think problems are meant to be solved.
Yeah.
But we all believe someone else is solving them, and there isn't anyone. What was remarkable is the outcomes that we had from that entrepreneurship program, getting women involved, and then how quickly we got to parity across gender and actually female dominance in the space, because I know everybody else is lying. I know everybody else doesn't want to do it. The Wall Street Journal rejected my op-ed about a year and a half ago, where I sent them a letter and I said, like, hey, I can fill any company in the Fortune 500's board. I can make it diverse, inclusive, tomorrow out of my cell phone. Like out of my cell phone, I can get you the women, the people of color you need. So like, I'm not believing these stories that it's too hard or this or that. Like you're choosing this pathway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can text 10 people and I'll have a diverse board. Right. And like, it's just, I don't know. I'm the whitest guy from, a private school in New England. So it's really kind of strange, but like I authentically mean it.
Yeah.
And I don't mean it from a political sense. It's just this simple. We can't have one person with opportunity and the other one with not. That's all. How
would you define what you do then?
So you tapped onto like the number one thing. At some level, I don't know what I do, but I do it and people react positively, negatively, all those things. And we're struggling to say, who is David Noble and what does he do? We're struggling with that because we know if we answer that question, there's a pot of money on the other side because other people can't, if they don't get into the circle, they can't ever figure out who I am. So like, again, weird thing about me is like, I'm able to become an expert in something really quickly because an expert, and I'll give you the secret. You can be an expert in something by simply knowing that much more than everyone else.
Yeah.
And like, and then recognize who actually is an expert.
Yeah.
And learn from them.
Yeah.
It's not that hard, but most people are like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, so I'm sure you get this all the time. You can't do all of these things. And you're like, well, of course I can. Because my brain works that way to be able to do all those things. Well, it's the same thing for me. I can know all of those things because my brain processes like that. That's it. I mean, it's 3 body problem. You are bugs, right? Plug for Ethan.
That's nice.
Yeah, we got to help him.
Yeah.
I think so. Your bugs in the book, it says this super complex thing to you is as easy as 1 + 1 = 2 to me. So I cannot explain to you how I know it. I can just tell you I know it.
Do you know why I actually do know that's true? Because you told me that 2 years ago you didn't know anything about basketball.
Not a thing. Not a thing. I didn't have to.
Yeah.
I didn't have to. But I mean, I've picked it up as you go. College basketball is a drug. I've never gotten into the pros.
Yeah, right.
But I mean, that 1 + I can't explain it. Like, it's just easy to me. Like, I see how things will progress. And ultimately, I tried, that's what they're recording from Miami, is that it's this pattern recognition. Like, you see the patterns, they make sense to me because my brain isn't super linear. I don't need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. It's like you don't paint this, then this, then this, then this. I mean, you'd produce the same painting every single time. It would be utterly boring. And so when I think of things, I look for opportunities and I look for what's the thing that nobody else has ever done. And that's where I've gotten to at this point. What's the thing that nobody else has ever done?
Yeah.
Well, nobody's ever architected out a name, image, and likeness system to win national championships in basketball. Well, check, right? Got 2 rings. Don't know anything about the sport, but I got those rings. Like, nobody's ever helped someone become the biggest artist in the world intentionally, deliberately. Check, right? Like, we're going to just, and that's what I want to do with my life is find solutions to those pieces. But if people make me tell them why I know something, I can't.
You can't reverse engineer and explain it. No.
You can't.
Yeah.
So hockey skating, ice skating, I'd played hockey my whole life.
Yeah.
You get to the point where you're going to go be a coach. And they say, how do you teach a kid how to skate? You're totally puzzled. I don't know. You just put on your skates and you go skate. There's actually a methodology and you have to back up and go learn that methodology. But until they teach you that, as someone that knows how to skate really, really well, you can't explain it. So, for me, I have that with more complex things. So who am I? What do I do? I don't know the answer to that, but I do know that it's a good life. I know that if I can answer that, it's going to be a better life. And then I want to just continue working with people that are that driven.
Yeah.
Not successful. I want to work with people that driven because then they can be successful. That's the number one indicator. That's what you look for. It's not like, oh, they're good. They're just so driven that they can't not succeed. And they will. They'll figure it out. So that's me. All right. Well, thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me again.
Yeah. It was a load of fun.
So fun, honestly.